Welcome to the Deep Dive. You know those moments when Formula One feels like it's right on the edge of, well, a massive shift? Well, today, we're diving deep into what a lot of people are calling the biggest shakeup in the sport's modern history. We're talking about the 2026 regulations. We've pulled together some really fascinating sources for you today. We'll be exploring everything about Aston Martin, their brand new, really crucial partnership with Honda, and also hearing some pretty candid opinions from key figures, those who are either embracing these changes or, frankly, pushing back against them.
Yeah, and what's critical to maybe highlight here is that this isn't just a technical thing, not just about new cars. We're really looking at the strategy, the sort of chess moves between the manufacturers, the brilliant engineering minds involved, and like you said, even the frank views from the drivers themselves. It's all potentially reshaping what racing is about.
Exactly. So our mission today is to unpack all of this for you. What does it mean for Aston Martin and their pretty bold ambitions? How's Honda going to navigate this? They're coming off huge success, but this is a whole new ballgame. And ultimately, what might all this mean for the actual spectacle, the thrill of F1? Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's really unpack these 2026 regs. They're being called a complete game changer. And we're not just talking about, a slightly different engine. It's a radical overhaul, the entire power unit, plus pretty significant changes to the chassis, the aerodynamics as well.
Right, and this brings up a really key point. The new rules, they mandate a 50-50 split between the thermal part, the combustion engine, and the electrical part. That's a profound rebalancing of where the engineering focus has to go. Basically, the MGU-K, the part that gets energy from braking and deploys it, its output is effectively doubling. But crucially, that really complex and expensive MGU-H, the one recovering exhaust energy, that's gone.
Ah, okay, so the heat recovery is out. Exactly, so it drastically shifts the engineering challenge away from heat recovery towards raw electrical energy deployment and managing that continuously, lap after lap.
And that surely means the electric motors are going to play just an enormous role, right, center stage. We've seen how engine rules can totally change the game before, haven't we? The risk, I suppose, is that one manufacturer just nails it right out of the gate, gets a massive advantage, and then we potentially see another period of, total dominance, like Mercedes back in 2014 when the hybrid era kicked off.
Precisely. Yeah, think about Red Bull in 2014. They were coming off, 4 straight double championships? NEWEY was designing these incredible cars aerodynamically speaking.
Peak Red Bull, yeah.
Totally. But then the hybrid era started, and that Renault engine was just a huge, huge problem for them. Even with probably the best chassis, they were mostly just picking up occasional wins, when engine power wasn't quite so critical or others had reliability issues.
Right.
It just starkly shows how utterly critical that power unit is going to be in 2026. It could, at least initially, overshadow even brilliant aero design.
Okay, so into this really high-stakes, game-changing future steps, this brand new factory partnership. It's already getting a lot of buzz. Aston Martin and Honda. So Aston Martin stops being a Mercedes customer, buying their engines, and becomes Honda's full factory team. And it's not just the engine, is it?
No, that's the key. It's not just an engine supply deal. Aston Martin is also designing and building their own gearbox and their own rear suspension.
Wow.
That is a massive undertaking. It really signals an incredible commitment from both sides.
Definitely.
And something that's really striking here is the level of collaboration already happening and how open they're being about it. We heard from Koji Watanabe, as the president of HRC, Honda's racing division. He confirmed Aston Martin has already sent several requests for improvements for the power unit design.
No.
Yeah, and it's not just about making it fit the car. It's about actively shaping the engine to make the whole package more competitive. They've apparently set up a dedicated group led by Tetsushi Tsunoda, who's the F1 Power Unit General Director at HRC, working directly with Aston's technical team.
That sounds proactive. Very different from maybe some past partnerships we've seen.
It really does. A very integrated approach right from day one.
But get this next detail adds a really fascinating layer. Watanabe actually admitted they don't always know if these crucial suggestions are coming from ADRIAN Newey, the aero legend, right? Or from Andy Cowell.
Andy Cowell, the guy who led Mercedes high-performance powertrains.
The very same, the architect of that dominant 2014 Mercedes engine.
Wow. Talk about an embarrassment of riches on the technical side.
Right. It really seems like they've put together this, technical dream team, giving input on chassis integration and the power unit itself.
Having someone like Andy Cowell involved, that's just monumental for Honda. His understanding of power units, especially coming from the team that just nailed the last big regulation change in 2014, it's invaluable.
He knows what it takes.
Exactly. Not just designing a powerful engine, but making it reliable and crucially integrating it perfectly with the chassis. So this collaboration, it really raises a big question. What does this level of outside input mean for Honda? Historically, they've been seen as maybe a bit more insular.
Well, yeah, it certainly looks like Honda has learned some very hard lessons, particularly from that McLaren-Honda period, 2015 to 2017.
Yeah, it was difficult.
An absolute disaster, I think were the words used. And part of the issue back then was apparently this very Japanese mentality, as it was described, of trying to do almost everything in-house, maybe being less open to external suggestions or even, critical feedback from their partners.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But the Honda we see now, today, it feels very different. They've got all this experience, multiple championships under their belt from 2021 to 2024, powering that success.
They know how to win now.
And that success seems to have brought a new culture of openness. They're openly welcoming suggestions from Aston Martin, from minds like COWELL, potential input from NEWEY. Plus, let's not forget, Honda isn't new to hybrids outside F1 either. They've got extensive, top-level hybrid experience in IndyCar and endurance racing with their Acura brand in IMSA.
Right, they have a broad base.
Demonstrating a pretty successful approach to electric power across the board.
And the early reports coming out now sound incredibly positive, don't they? Andy Cowell himself, he's publicly said that after looking at the hardware in Sakura in Japan and the transmission bits in Silverstone, he said the Honda power unit design fits like a glove with the rear chassis and the front of the transmission.
Which is fantastic news, right?
Yeah.
That suggests really good integration and optimization right from the start of the design process. That's absolutely vital in modern F1.
Couldn't agree more.
And beyond just, the positive signs on integration, there's also this really fascinating rumor bubbling up. It sort of highlights Honda's ambition and maybe their willingness to take some big risks. There's a report from a respected journalist, Ralph Bach, I think, writing for an F1 blog, saying Honda is supposedly taking a different path with their battery circuit for 2026.
A different path? What does that even mean?
Well, that's the thing. He describes it simply as different. Doesn't know if it's better or worse, but it definitely signals a bold, maybe non-conventional approach.
Intriguing.
It could mean anything, really. Radical new battery chemistry, a unique cooling system, maybe a totally novel way the energy flows to maximize that crucial 50% electric power the rules demand.
So a high-stakes gamble.
Absolutely. But one that could pay off massively if they get it right.
And this deep technical stuff, it isn't just internal between Aston and Honda, is it? It also extends to another really crucial part of the 2026 rules, sustainable fuels.
Ah, yes, the fuel element.
Yeah.
Very important.
Aston Martin and Honda are working with Aramco on that. It's their first time working together on fuels, apparently. And for 2026, the rules mandate 100% sustainable fuels. That's a huge technical challenge in itself.
It really is. It's not just slapping a sticker on the car.
No, exactly. It's a deep technical collaboration. Honda will need to figure out the specific fuel formulas that work best with their new engine.
And they'll need rapid development, perfect synergy between the fuel and the power unit. It's another vital piece of the puzzle.
So while the engineers are, heads down, working furiously, some drivers are already voicing some pretty strong opinions about these new rules. And not all positive.
No, definitely not. Lance Stroll, for instance, has been quite outspoken.
What did he say?
He described the 2026 regulations as sad, even called it a scientific project. He's apparently driven the simulator version, and, well, he's clearly not a fan of the direction things are heading.
Sad.
Wow.
What's his main criticism?
Well, a key takeaway seems to be his view on the shift toward electrical energy. He argues it forces compromises, like reducing aero downforce to manage battery power and weight. He basically said he longs for lighter, more agile, fast cars with lots of downforce. He prefers a racing championship over what he sees as becoming a battery energy championship.
A sentiment maybe some fans share too.
Quite possibly. It taps into that purist view of F1.
And he also hinted, rather pointedly, that maybe other drivers feel the same way but can't really speak out.
Yeah, he mentioned political reasons within teams or the sport, possibly keeping others quiet.
Interesting. And just to stir the pot even more, didn't the FIA president, Mohammed Ben Sulayem, recently open the door, or at least mention, a possible return to V8s?
He did float that idea, yes, which certainly got people talking. But Honda, for their part, were immediately very firm against that. They stated very clearly that electrification is fundamental for a sustainable future for the sport, and it aligns with their whole company strategy.
So two very different views there on the future direction.
Absolutely. And it brings up that crucial question. Is Stroll just voicing his personal preference? Or is he tapping into a wider feeling about F1 losing some of its traditional sort of visceral essence?
Or is it just, the inevitable growing pains as the sport evolves to meet new demands like sustainability?
It's a tension, isn't it? It'll be fascinating to see how that plays out.
Definitely. But regardless of what individual drivers think right now, Aston Martin seems to be in a potentially quite good spot heading towards 2026. And it's thanks to a specific rule.
Ah, you mean the aerodynamic testing regulations, the sliding scale?
Exactly. Because of where they finished in the Constructors' Championship last year, they actually get more hours for wind tunnel testing and CFD development.
Many of their big rivals who finished higher up.
Right. It's designed to help teams catch up. Then Aston Martin looks perfectly placed to really make the most of that extra development time.
Which could be absolutely crucial with such a massive regulation change. Every bit of simulation and testing time counts.
So, okay, let's try and wrap this up. What does all this mean for you, the F1 fan, the listener, trying to make sense of this? We've covered Aston Martin's really deep, proactive involvement with Honda on the 2026 engine. They're not just a customer, they're a true partner.
Shaping the design from the start.
We talked about that incredible brain trust NEWEY and COWELL providing input, even if indirectly sometimes. Those positive early signs about engine integration, fitting like a glove.
Yeah, and Honda's bold, possibly risky, different path with the battery tech. That's one to watch.
And we also looked at the contrasting views from inside the paddock, Stroll's skepticism versus Honda's firm commitment to electrification.
So if you step back and look at the bigger picture, 2026 is just shaping up to be a truly pivotal year for Formula One. It's such a complex mix. You've got cutting-edge engineering, deep strategic partnerships, and always, in motorsport, those inherent thrilling risks you take when pushing the boundaries.
Right.
And the success of this whole Aston Martin Honda project. It really hinges entirely on their ability to perfectly blend all those different things together into a winning package.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you to mull over. Given Aston Martin has those extra testing hours, that extra development time, and you combine that with Honda's seemingly new collaborative approach, plus their potentially risky but ambitious different path on the battery, could this whole venture, which does look like a gamble on paper, could it be the very thing that launches them to unexpected heights in 2026? Could they really shake up the established order?
Or is the gamble just too big? Is there a risk of repeating past struggles, maybe like McLaren Honda, if things don't click perfectly?
What stands out most to you about this complex and frankly really exciting future for F1? Something to think about.